Welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in a Pod, a podcast for the people of Glazing by the people of Glazing. My name's George Lewis, editor at the People in Glazing Society, or more commonly known as PiGs, and I'll be your host. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Kelly McPhilbin. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thanks for asking me to come on. It's my first podcast, so hoping it goes well.
So we'll jump straight into it with the first question. You know, if for those that don't know who you are, can you explain who you are and what you do within our industry?
Yeah, so as you said, Kelly McPhilbin, managing director and founder of NXGEN Lifting. We specialise in mini cranes, restricted access crane lifts, and I'd say roughly 90% of our projects at the moment are working within the glazing sector. So assisting customers with curtain walling installations, areas that are tight where a normal mobile crane can't get access to. We also run glazing robots for emergency glazing and shop fronts such as River Island.
Okay. And the age-old question we always ask in this is how did you get into this sector? It's a sector that not everyone obviously goes down from school or from starting their career. But what's your route into our sector?
So I initially got into sales because years ago I wasn't very good with my money and I got into debt. Spent all my money on horses, lived on beans on toast. So I literally Googled highest paid job, and other than doctor, lawyer, something that requires you to go to university, sales rep was the only option. So I just started applying for various sales jobs and landed a position working for a company called UK Platforms, who specialise in powered access, so cherry pickers, scissor lifts, telehandlers. At the time that I worked for them, they were part of HSS Hire, who most people will probably be familiar with. From there, I moved over into the mini crane market after a customer that I worked with, a glazing customer, funny enough, recommended me to a mini crane company. And then I moved into mobile cranes just to broaden my knowledge, and decided I want to be my own boss and go on my own.
Nice. And what made you sort of stick with it in terms of going from company to company, like within that sort of sector? What was it that kept you there?
For me, every day is different and every project is different and every customer has a unique challenge, especially in terms of the mini cranes, which was where my love really was, because every job we go to, it's often really complex in terms of maybe weight restrictions for steel erectors. Obviously, most of what we do is glass lifting, so trying to get under canopies, limited space. And I think as building work continues, especially in London, the city centres are getting more dense and there's more requirement for mini cranes within our industry.
Okay. And like you said, you've now set up on your own company in NXGEN Lifting. What made you decide to set up? You know, it's a big decision to go it alone as such. Like what was the reasoning sort of to go and set up your own company?
How I feel like how I've succeeded in the industry is through looking after the customer. So I'm not really, I don't see myself as a salesperson, because when somebody tries to sell something to me, which happens all the time now, like car trackers and insurance and finance, I'm like the hardest person to sell to. So to me, I just try and offer a solution to the customer, and I try to work as part of their team to take the stress away from them, where they'll just say, can you speak to this project manager for me, Kelly? Can you sort this out? Can I pass this to you? So I try to work as an extension of their team, if you like. I don't annoy them and ring them every day asking, do they want mini cranes? Because it's cringy to me, that type of selling. I set up NextGen with a key focus on putting the customer first and looking after the sales second. And so far, it seems to have done me well, because I've been the only salesperson for the last 2 years pretty much. And I don't get to see the customers very often, because now I'm doing everything else as well.
Yeah, and
But
do you
yeah,
miss it? Do you miss seeing the customers sort of day in, day out, or speaking to them every day?
yeah, because that's the good part, going in
Yeah,
and having, well, even if you're going in to resolve an issue, it's always nice to see them. Most of the time now, I see them at Christmas, with Christmas cards, so it's once a year.
yeah,
But again, because I don't mither them, and I'm not going in every 5 minutes. When they do see me, they make time for me and put the kettle on, which is nice. But I think I had confidence to go on my own because the customers are so loyal to me. So I kind of thought, what do I have to lose? And if it doesn't work out, I know I can get a job in sales.
yeah. No,
So yeah.
yes, it sounds like an exciting time to to set up on your own and sort of be your own boss. Like, have you learned anything from being your own boss in those last couple of years that you hadn't known about in the sort of the years previous to that, in while she was working for a company?
Yeah, how difficult it is to manage people. So I can manage customer expectations all day long, but employees, you can never figure somebody out.
Yeah,
We do have a very good team, luckily.
yeah,
But yeah, that's been a struggle. And also cash flow, which I'm sure most people are aware within our industry, is an absolute nightmare. So when you're trying to start a new business, all your machines are on finance, you're paying your subcontractors within 2 weeks, you're paying your cards in people weekly, then your office staff monthly, and you don't see your money till 2, 3 months down the line.
yeah,
It's definitely a struggle.
yeah. Well, you're obviously you're doing really well, because as people will see on our website soon, and and you recently won an award at the Best Businesswomen Award. So yeah, how did that feel to firstly to be nominated, and then to win an award? Yeah, what was the initial reaction?
Overwhelming emotion, because I didn't expect to win, but I'm very
Yeah,
competitive. So secretly, I was like, I hope I win because
yeah,
I've come all the way to London. But the category was really strong because you can imagine a lot of people set up new businesses, and
yeah,
the judges told me there was like hundreds of entrants in that particular category, and I wasn't too sure really where I'd come with my entry. Obviously, being in construction and in a male dominated industry, I thought it would stand out, but I didn't know if it would be interesting enough, like crane hire for some of the
yeah,
judges. So, yeah, I was just pleased to get there and experience the awards, but then to win was amazing. And my dad, I've never
yeah.
seen him so proud. So,
Oh, that's all.
yeah, I didn't know how to react really.
Yeah. Did you practice your sort of acknowledgement face if you didn't pick up the award, sort of the the Oscar type moment where you're clapping and you're secretly inside, you're going, "Oh, I wish I won it."
Yeah, I think I felt more comfortable being a silver winner than a gold, because when I had to go up on my own, I was like, oh God, I hope I don't have to do a speech,
Yeah.
which luckily I didn't. So yeah, it was just all quite overwhelming, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'm really grateful to achieve that award. I hope that
Yeah.
it inspires other women.
Yeah, so I was going to move on to obviously the Business Women Awards is quite sounds like a really important sort of part of what, not just the obviously our industry, but just the wider business industry. So like, do you think it's important to have those type of awards that pushes women businesses up, elevates them into higher sort of echelons?
Definitely, yeah, and I think we do have to make sacrifices as women. For example, I've put on hold having a family, and most of the time in most households, the ladies will stay at home and look after the children, and the men go to work and provide. So I think, especially now with the cost of living as well, you're seeing more women have to go to work sooner than they'd like. I think women have a place in the industry, and when women are in more senior positions, I feel they become role models for hopefully the younger generation.
Yeah. And did it inspire you to go to the awards? Obviously, it's not just construction or glazing, but people from all over the country. Did you get inspiration, from other business owners?
Yeah, I didn't actually get to speak to that many people on the night because most people stayed on their own table with friends and
Yeah.
family. The judges do come over, but they have a winners event, which is the end
Okay.
of November, where all the silver and gold winners get to go, which I assume then is more of like a networking event. So I hope that I'll get some benefit from that because sales
Yeah.
is just meeting new people and networking really and helping each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, obviously we're in construction or in glazing. It's very male dominated. Like how does it feel to be, a woman or a woman business owner within this sort of like? Do you feel like you have to do things slightly differently? Like obviously you mentioned about, putting things on hold and whatnot. But do you feel like you do things differently because you're a woman led business?
I think the outdated gender stigma is becoming more of a thing of the past, which is a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Most of my customers are men. So, I don't, I'm sure most of them have daughters. So I think we are moving away from that. And also, age is something as well. If you walk onto
Yep.
a site and you're younger than somebody else, I don't even think it's just the fact that you're a female. Sometimes people doubt your knowledge,
Yeah.
but I'd say it's less and less now, which is good. And when I do get somebody like that, I make it my mission that I see it as a challenge to get them on board
Yeah.
to like me or to say, oh, she actually knows what she's talking about. Fair play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pleased to say you don't see it as much. And I've
Yeah.
not really experienced it. And if I have, I've not took any notice. So
Yeah, and it's so important, isn't it, to get rid of those outdated sort of notions, about like you said, not only women in the industry, but younger people as well. That that we need this next generation of men and women into the industry, isn't it? So the more we can entice people into it, the better.
yeah, I think we both bring different qualities. So I think both genders are equally important in business. And
Yeah,
to think
definitely.
that a woman doesn't have a seat at the business table is just so small minded. That's just my opinion. I
Yeah,
think
I'm wrong.
you just need to judge somebody on their merit and what value they add to the business.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned it sort of earlier about being potentially being a role model. Do you see yourself as now you're an award winning business or person? Do you feel you could be a role model, and do you want to be a role model?
I would love to be a role model to somebody. I don't want to I don't want to not be the humble person that I am and get an ego from winning one award. I'm very grateful for winning the award, and if it inspires just one person, I actually had a lovely comment off a gentleman on LinkedIn saying that I was an inspiration to him. So even if
Nice.
it's just business owners in general, I
Yeah.
think the key thing for me is that I was always passionate about going into this industry. I never did it for the money. Like, I just did it because it's what I love. I love helping people and I believe in the product. And I think the mini crane and glass lifting market needed a real shake up, and that's definitely what NextGen has done. Um, Customers. I think 97% of our business is all repetitive business, which is why I've not needed to build a sales team. And again, I'm just really grateful to the
Yeah.
customers for supporting us, especially being such a young business.
Yeah. And do you think that your enthusiasm for this part of the industry can entice more people into our industry? Like we say, we always need to get new people into it. Do you think that your enthusiasm and sort of progression of this side of the business can actually entice more people into it?
I hope so. Yeah, I think people, in terms of people like myself that are in a position to offer employment, Um, I'd like to see people being more open-minded, because when I tried to get into sales initially, trying to get the first door to open, because everybody wants
Mm.
minimum 2 years experience. Whilst I
Yeah.
understand some jobs, you need experience, you need a university degree. Um, with NextGen, I've tried to hire for attitude first, and then
Okay.
upskill the team in-house, and hope that means the staff will give me more loyalty and a better service to the customers.
Yeah.
Because that gives me satisfaction as well, seeing my team doing well and
Yeah.
being in a
And
position to
progressing.
do that. Yeah, progressing somebody is it's a nice thing to do, and it's
Yeah.
something I always wanted when I was an employee.
And moving on to speak about the company as a whole, is there any sort of exciting projects that you've worked on or are working on that you can tell us about that have sort of really, yeah, whet the appetite for sort of big projects or yeah, exciting ones that have happened?
Yeah, I mean we've worked on thousands of projects over the last couple of years, but a couple that stand out is probably the Co-op Live Arena, where
No.
we assisted with the installation of the balustrades. We were then on the AO Arena, which was like 24-hour shifts over 4 months, particularly with our electric equipment. And they wanted all electric cranes inside the arena. And on there, we were assisting with the structural steel, which was really tight and tricky and complex. So that was a great project to see get over the line. Also, I'm just trying to think of a couple of others that we've done. Anfield Stadium for Liverpool Football
Okay.
Club. We assisted with the installation of the concrete stairs, again due to the restricted access.
Yeah.
Another complex job. And now with Christmas on the horizon, we assist with all the Christmas tree installs
Nice.
across the shopping centres, which you wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily expect with mini cranes. But yeah, we build reindeers and lift them onto second floors, and they're quite nice jobs. But yeah, as I say, most of what we do at the moment is glass lifting. So various car dealerships across the UK, hospitals, universities. Um, yeah, we've just covered a broad spectrum of projects.
Nice. And how do you help with sort of the expertise of obviously using the mini cranes and things like that? How did NextGen help with sort of the health and safety aspect and obviously how to operate these machines?
So we offer two levels of service, which would be crane and operator only or full contract lift. Most customers do go for a full contract lift, which is where we complete the measured survey, supervise the job, we take full responsibility, lift plans are provided, we assist with point loadings, anything really that the customer needs assistance with. In terms of NextGen, when I set it up, we ensured that we invested in the latest equipment.
Yeah.
Some other companies are still offering quite outdated machines, but I wanted to offer the latest solution that was more innovative but also sustainable, because there's a big focus, especially with main contractors, around that. Our mini cranes offer the longest run time in terms of the electric equipment. So it just gives customers peace of mind that they can get through a full shift before needing to recharge the machine. Because everyone's bugbear coming away from diesel is how long is the
Yeah.
electric machine or the electric car going to last for? And you say, oh, it'll do this amount, and it's not long enough. So
Yeah.
I know
And
for
do,
me, when I moved to a Tesla from a Ford Ranger, I just thought this is rubbish. I'm having to
yeah.
charge up every day. But I
Yeah.
think again, we're overcoming that now with these cranes, because one of my cranes was running for 3 days without charge down in London recently,
Oh,
which I did say to the
yeah.
customer, you might need to put it on charge now, because your temperature
Yeah.
fate
Yeah.
there.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
And do companies that come to you, asking for the electric side of things, are they sort of looking at it from a sustainability point of view that actually they want it, or is it just the latest technology is going that way?
It's mixture really because even some jobs that we do are out of hours, so it's even just from a noise pollution perspective.
Sure.
Obviously, the
Yeah.
diesel cranes are a lot noisier, but the mini cranes that we have as well are a lot smaller. Once the outriggers are deployed, the footprint of the machine is half the size of a conventional spider crane.
Yeah.
They've also got additional accessories on, so where customers previously needed to pay for extra accessories, they now don't need to do that with us. So not only are we offering the latest equipment, but customers are seeing massive cost savings. But it's just getting people to adapt and consider new machines that are out there as well, and that's my job.
Yeah. And how is that? Is it a sort of a slow progress in terms of getting people to move over to them, or are you seeing sort of more and more wanting to do it?
Um, Once they've tried the new mini cranes, they tend not to go back to the old ones, which is great
Yeah.
because I do believe that they sell themselves once they're on site. Because even for steel erectors, they'll have weight restrictions, or the cranes need to get into hoists. So because they're lightweight, we can get them into hoists instead of customers having to wait for tower cranes to lift them onto the roof, which is what they do with the heavier cranes. So there's many benefits, and it's just us getting that across really to the customers. Also, your operators, having good operators is key because it's no good having a great crane if somebody isn't competent enough to
Yeah.
use it. So we offer familiarisation to every subcontractor that works for us, and we insist that they come in for training just to limit customer downtime on site and to give
Mm.
customers confidence in us and our men.
Okay. And obviously, you speak to a lot of people, like you said, a lot of businesses within the glazing sector. From the people you speak to, and obviously the projects that you're working on, like how does the industry look to you? Because from our point of view, it's very mixed. From people saying that they're having a pretty sort of a tough start to the year, but things are picked up during summer. To people, to companies that are, it's a bit harder. So, like, how are you seeing it from your point of view in the industry?
I think it's been a tough year again. So once we came out of winter, normally after January is out of the way, you start to see it pick up, and it continued to be slow for 2 to 3 months after. So that was quite tough, especially for us being a new business.
Yeah,
Um, Also, we've seen some big glazing companies sadly go under this year. Trying Craft for one, who were doing Everton. Obviously, they announced going into administration. Charles Henshaw were doing some big projects in
yeah,
Manchester. Didn't expect them to go after trading as long as they had. And there was trying to think of the other company that was up north that we were working with that sadly folded as well. Oh, sorry, Argler. Argler was another one that we did quite a lot of work
yeah,
with. Look, none of these customers took us for any money, but it's just sad to see great businesses
yeah,
feeling the struggle. I think in terms of people getting paid, it's still a problem, and all the the subcontractors that are withheld money for a long time, and everyone's got families to
yeah.
feed, and I don't agree with it.
Of course, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think we're not
And
out
to
of
me,
the woods yet, but staying positive.
yeah. Do you think things are looking slightly better, sort of forecasting for maybe the end of this year, going into next year? Do you think things can get a little bit easier?
I'm hoping so. There seems to be plenty of projects in the pipeline and people securing work. It does seem to be moving, albeit at a slow pace, slower than I'd like. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think hopefully we'll get through the tough times and we're over the backlog of COVID.
yeah. And to move on to if someone approached you from the industry, you've been in it a few years now, or worked within the glazing sector or the wider construction sector for a while now. If someone approached you saying they'd like to get into it, how do you sell it to them? How do you say it's a good industry and a potentially a good career to have?
I'd say you never have time to be bored. It's very fast paced, which suits me because I get bored easily.
Yeah,
Every day is different. Every project is different. So I really look forward to going to work. And
nice.
that's nothing to do with me running NextGen. Even when I've
Yeah,
worked for people, I've always loved this industry. Um, and I quite like that it's a bit rough and ready and not always too professional, because I did come from the healthcare industry previously. So,
yeah,
you had to watch your P's and Q's in that market, or somebody would have a grievance against you. Where
yeah,
when I came into construction, I was like, wow, he just swore. But yeah, I think this industry suits me a bit better.
yeah. And lastly, to end the main part of the podcast, you're now an award-winning person and an award-winning company. What's next for yourself at NextGen?
More investment. We need some more machines now. So yeah, hopefully more investment, possibly more depots. We're just working on projects and where strategically best to place them to service the customers. Um, and we just keep going. Might enter a few more awards now and see how we
Yeah,
get on.
definitely. You got the itch for an awards.
Or I might end on a good note and not do
Yeah,
any more.
nice. Well, yeah, thanks, Kelly, for that. We're gonna move on to our quick fire question round. As people have seen in our previous episodes, we like to get to know our guests a bit better and sort of ask them the quick fire questions, and it's just the first thing that comes to mind. But don't worry, it's nothing too heavy. It's just, yeah, first thing that comes to your head. So I'll start off with: do you prefer talking over email or by phone?
Phone, definitely.
Okay. What's your go-to breakfast? If you could choose anything, doesn't have to be healthy, can be anything you want. What would you go for?
Fry up.
Nice, nice. Where's your favorite place to visit?
um, I do like Mexico, but I'd
Okay,
love to go to Thailand and
nice.
Dubai
Uh,
one day.
yeah. What's your favorite thing to do on a day off?
Probably
If
work.
if you're allowed a day off, do you get a day off?
I do have a couple of horses, so I try
Okay.
and spend time with them because they force me to switch off.
Yeah.
Don't really go out anymore. I think I'm a bit old for that now.
I feel you. And to just bring it back to the industry for the last question, you could sort of touched on it before, but in a year's time, if we were to sit here doing this podcast again in a year's time, do you think the industry will be in a better place, a worse place, or do you think it'll be roughly the same?
Like to say slightly better rather than slightly worse. I think we are
Yeah,
coming out of it, but obviously none of us know the future.
yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah. After the last few years, we can't predict anything anymore. So
no, no, I don't even think we
mhm.
can predict the weather anymore, can we? So,
No. Yeah. Well, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so for our last bit of the podcast, we like to give people the chance to shout out people. It can be anyone from the industry or colleagues, friends, family, whoever it may be. So yeah, if you've got one or two names that you'd like to shout out, but yeah, please do.
I think there's too many names to mention, but I'd just like to thank
Roll them off.
any I just like to thank any customers that I've worked with and that have given NextGen a chance. I'm really, really grateful. And the staff, Caroline, Macy, Craig, Ryan, Carl, we've had a great team, even going down to the subcontractors. I couldn't wish to work for better. Subbies that promote the brand and support NextGen. Just thanks to everybody that's played a part in it, because we are a team and it's not just down to me.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, thanks very much, Kelly, for joining us today on Two Pigs in the Pod, and getting to know you a bit more and a bit more about NextGen.
No, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Well, that's it for today. So I hope you can join us for another episode soon. You can find this episode and all others on our website, www.peopleinglazing.co.uk, on our YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And whilst you're on our website, you can also find when the next PiGs networking event is. You can read the latest people news from our sector and a whole lot more. So thanks once again to Kelly for joining us, and see you again soon.